Previously on Sailing with the Jameses, we arrived at the Townsville Marina and Cyclone prepped our boat. And we said goodbye to Sam, who flew from Townsville to Darwin and met a ship for work. Sam is now at work for 1 month, and today he's giving us an insider's tour of the ship's bridge and a close-up of all the equipment. Hi, we're the James family.
Are you sick of your day-to-day life? Ever thought about doing something different?
Well, we did just that.
We bought an unfinished aluminium catamaran and we're fixing her up as we sail around the world.
Come along for the journey and click subscribe.
Daddy? Mommy? Charlie?
Hey guys, so I've taken just a quick 30-day contract doing some survey work. So we're getting a vessel ready up in Darwin. We're going to be heading about 750 miles across to the Torres Straits, and the job that we're doing is we are going to be doing a survey work of a main shipping channel in order to adjust the charts for the Royal Navy. And I just wanted to give you a basic tour. This is just a 34 meter vessel, so it's one of the smaller ones. It is a little bit of a mess because we are mobbing up. So what happens is the client hires the vessel, and then they set it up with all of their equipment, and we go and do the job, and they'll take their equipment and we'll get another client to do it. So what we've got, this here is the aft deck, and so there is an A-frame at the back there. The A-frame, there is a winch attached to it, and that's so we can put all the tide gauges and that in. And they need to first establish the tidal so that for them, when they are doing the multi-beam survey, they know the height of the tide exactly, so they know the topography of the bottom to adjust the charts. Now we've got 40 tide gauges to go in on this project, all in different zones gridded out, and we will need a base station on the land, so as you've got a stable point for them to know exactly the height of tide. This here is our moon pool with the tower in the middle, and basically at the bottom of that is a multi-beam sonar, and so we can lift it up when we're going and transiting. At the moment the equipment is down and the multi-beam is in the water, and you can see this is all of the client's cords coming up there. Once we start the steam, it's going to take us about 4 days to head across and head back into Queensland from the Northern Territory. The deck won't quite be looking as it is now, and every project we just lift on shipping containers, put them straight on the deck, and then we will sort all the equipment out from there. We should be leaving within the next couple of days. But what I wanted to talk to you about isn't all the client stuff that they've brought on, is this vessel. This vessel has an aft steering station here, which has a bit of stuff around. I wanted to go through the forward steering station. So up here is just all your nav lights, same things that you've probably got on all your boats at home. Then there's an electronic monitoring system. So here we can turn all the pumps on and off, transfer, water, ballast, anything like that, all from the bridge. When we come into the steering station console here, we can start up top. So we've got a satellite compass, then we've got, this is an internal intercom, and that there is the wind. So at the moment we've only got 4 knots, and then the basic direction there. Once you come round, we've got a few different power packs. So this one here is for our thrusters. So this boat has 4 thrusters on board. It's a catamaran, so 1 in each hull, forward and aft. Then the main engines, 2 main engines, again 1 in each hull. That there is a repeater screen, so that can be any kind of nav system, radar, anything like that. Usually we have the radar on it. Here we have the 2 rudder indicators and where the wheel is. And the reason that is when we go to DP mode, which is called dynamic positioning mode, the rudders can either box in or box out. Autopilot, GPS linked to the autopilot. Above that's our shaft counters. When the main engines are running, it tells us the revolutions that the shaft's doing. Over on the side here, we've got our BINWAS. Basically, this is a watch alarm. So we've got a sensor there to make sure if we move, and if we don't move, then an alarm will go off. We need to then hit the button to reset the alarm. It's to make sure that someone is awake at all times and monitoring what's going on when we're steaming. There is our steering. On the other side here, this is all to do with the BINWAS, the Furuno, and then the basic radios. They're just two VHFs there that we use. Coming down, we've got some cameras. The cameras you can do throughout the boat. They're in the messes. That's the engine rooms that we have on at the moment. I'm just on night shift on what we would call fire watch, making sure nothing's happening and just going through some planned maintenance and bits and pieces. You can change it to the FLIR camera that's on the top if you need to monitor parts of the vessel, and that's linked to this screen here. We've got it off at the moment because that's what the surveyors are going to be putting all of their information through when we start doing lines and bits and pieces. Then we keep coming across to our other screens. The main nav screen there, this boat's running time 0. So basically what we have over this side here, that's what's called a UPS, an undisturbed power supply. What that does is, as we're running through generators, it'll smooth the power out and make it constant power to the computer, which is that thing there. And you can see the two USB steps next to it to give you an idea of size. It's very, very small. If any of you are from my generation, you'll remember that computers used to be a lot bigger than that, but that's all it is. And that undisturbed power supply will run the monitor and the computer for approximately 30 minutes without power. On this vessel we have 4 generators, so 4 different gensets, so it'd be a fair bit of bad luck for them all to stop working at once, and the whole ship can run on one genset. As we come around here, that there is a keypad that also runs through the nav computer, and then a mouse. Now this boat has what's called dynamic positioning. Now what that means is there is a sequence that we need to do for safety in order to go into DP, but if this is the DP board over here, and if we hit the hold button, it will automatically hold our positions. It's got 2 gyro compasses, one in the forward of the bridge, one in the aft, a sat compass linked through it, and then the GPSs. And then we can use this joystick just to operate the vessel. So hold will make the thrusters hold position, so we don't need to drop an anchor essentially. Wherever we want to go, if we decide this is the place we're going to work, we'll go into DP and hit the hold button, and the thrusters and the computer will hold us exactly where we are, and then we can use this joystick for finer adjustments as to where we need to go. If we're going to drive it like a conventional boat and not use DP, these here are the sticks for the engines. This here is for steering, and then you've got your forward and your aft thrusters here. So to thrust the bow across or to thrust the stern across, and vice versa. Now with these, if you just do it a little bit, it's light thrust, a lot thrust, maximum thrust. So that is the way that works, and the DP system is quite amazing. So yeah, you can just put it in hold. You can use the buttons to move the vessel whichever way you want it to be, orientate it however you need to orientate it, and move it around that way. Over the side here, this here is quite fancy, but really all it is the spotlight. So it's just to move your spotlight whichever way you want it to go and how fast you want to do it, and the on off switch there. And these here are our winches, so the port and starboard winch up on the bow there, so we can use them for positioning the vessel as well. You can see the winches out the front window. You can see there's boxes and things out there. Again, we're just mobbing up ready for the job, and that's why there's quite a bit of stuff around. Over here is another radar, and then a depth sounder, and then AIS there to do the visuals, but the AIS and everything is all linked through to our plotter here. But apart from that, that there is basically the steering station. You get great visibility out the front from there. Over the other side, basically that's your watchkeeper's one. So he's got a screen as well, so he can monitor the course. And then behind him, he's got all the GMDSS equipment, which is Global Maritime Distress and Safety Systems. So essentially these are the main radios. So the watchkeeper will monitor the radios, let us know if there's any emergency calls or anything of relevance, and keep a lookout out the windows as well as we go. And then during the back, this is just the ship's office. So you've got a small briefing table with a screen, and it's not to watch movies, my friends. It's mainly to go through PowerPoint presentations, talk about our work method statements, plans for the day and things like that. And then just a basic ship's office in the back here, which you'd be surprised the amount of paperwork that usually comes with jobs like this. It keeps you fairly busy. Over on the back side here is very important. This is our fire panel system, and then our fire release systems per hull. So with this one here, if a fire alarm goes off, you have a look, it'll tell you what zone it is, and with the zones you know where the fires originated. From there you can go to the camera system, start raising the alarm, start radioing the crew. Anyone who is on watch will have a small UHF radio on. There is 9 crew on board here at the moment, so plenty of people to call on. But that's a very basic and very quick look at how these small boats are set up for survey. Now a lot of the stuff is repeated down the back here. So you can see here, this is the aft steering station. With the aft steering station, you do have radios at the top. Down here is a cat repeater, and this is for the engines, so we know how they're going. Horn, every captain loves to have a horn. This is the steering system here, which runs the rudders at the back. And again, those are independent rudders, so we can box them in, box them out. They don't have linkage arms like most catamarans. This is internal, so there's speakers forward and onto the aft deck if you need to talk to any crew that are out there. These here are the winches, which are those forward winches again to control in or out. We have the steering here. So basically what it means is if you want to do 10 degrees to starboard, you'd go 10 degrees to starboard, and then the rudders will follow up to that, and it'll stay at 10 degrees until you correct it. Then you have your thrusters, forward and aft. This here is the DP mode again, with the joystick, and again this is the DP operation here. So once you start doing the sequence, you can start, there's a DP procedure there to put it into dynamic positioning. All of these companies have a lot of safety systems in place and procedures just to ensure that we're doing anything nice and safely. There we have the nav computer. We have a screen at the back that can be several different things depending on the job. So we can relay a radar to it, we can relay survey lines if that's what we're doing, or if we're doing anchor handling, which the A-frame at the back is also used for, then we can put points in there or whatever it is. And then when we are setting up the DP, we do have a little thing there just to help counteract current, wind, and what the ship's actually doing and what the job is. And that's mainly for if we're going close to a rig. So another thing that we do, a thing called pigging. And pigging is if you've got, say, a rig or a repeater rig somewhere, what they'll do is they'll put these things called pig with a whole heap of water pressurized behind it and essentially clean the pipelines. So part of their periodic maintenance is to go out there, get a crew to do that, and I guess essentially scrub the pipelines. For those of you that do pigging, I only take the equipment out there and keep an eye on it and deliver it, so I'm sure they'll be able to explain it a lot better. But yeah, then we'll be going closer to the rig, lifting a lot of the stuff off the back with the crane and then taking it from there. When we do jobs like that, normally take the A-frame down, which is at the back there. One of the tricks when you're delivering stuff to a rig, you'll have all the gear on the back deck. If it's rough, you'll get the crane to lift it. At the bottom of the wave is when he'll wire up. He'll go flat out with the wire up. As we come down on the next wave is when it lifts off the deck, and that's when I'll put the engines in forwards, or if I'm in dynamic positioning, I'll move away from the rig and let the container go out the back and then up from there. If it's nice weather, it's very easy. Yeah, but usually the A-frame's off. Otherwise, between the bridge where I am and the A-frame is a small area, and we've got to hold the ship in that position. Obviously this tower isn't on the deck then, because we won't have the moon pool being used for survey work. We'll lift it straight up. A lot of the stuff that is on the deck just bolts on and bolts off. So that tower just bolts straight off. That shipping container lifts straight off, it's the client's. Same with that winch in the middle for the A-frame. We've got a small winch for this one because we're only lifting a couple of ton. I think that's a 5-ton winch, that one there. So we're not doing too much heavy work. And this is beautiful Darwin in the middle of the night. We're on Fort Hill Wharf. But that's a very quick little bridge tour of a small survey or multi-purpose vessel. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. What I might do is I might do a bit of an engine room tour for another video. So yeah, we'll talk to the chief and head down there sometime.
Thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying our videos and would like to help support us making videos and content, consider becoming a Patreon. The link is in the description below. And don't forget to click those like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you all next week.